Hi, Krish.
Hello. Hi, Marcelo. So are you ready now?
We're live.
Yep. Welcome everyone today to webinar on the new generation IoT sensors from Dynamox and how this technology can improve your asset reliability monitoring. If you have any questions, you may text in the live chat and we will answer at the end of the webinar. Uh, Marcelo Silva, technical engineer, will be presenting technical and application detail of the sensors. So Marcelo, can you briefly update us about the Dynamox history and DynaPredict solution environment?
Yeah, thanks for the invitation. Thanks for the opportunity of being here. So, as Krishna mentioned, the idea is to go through just some quick details of our solution and how we could help your business in terms of a complete solution for condition monitoring and asset reliability. So, I'll just ask my yes, thanks for that. So, Dynamox, basically, just to give you an idea, our global service so far. So, we have partners and customers all around the world. We are a company based in Brazil. So, we developed hardware and software solutions for condition monitoring and asset reliability. We started back some years ago producing RFID tags, and now already evolved more than 5 years on the market producing vibration and temperature sensors and delivering software solutions for our customers. Just to give an idea, this is our main building in Brazil. So we are a very diverse team composed of PhDs, masters, postgraduate engineers, computer scientists, and of course technicians and technologists to make the best out of our team. So the idea is to attend you, of course, in your necessities, but mainly in several languages. So now, we are a company that attend you in Portuguese, in English, Spanish, French, and of course Korean. So if you would like to take a chat with us, to contact us, we'll be very happy to assist you in those languages. Just to give an idea on our production process, this is our semi-automated world-class production process. This is just some photos of how the sensors, how the gateways are all developed. I'm going to talk a bit more about that in a moment, but just to give an idea on how that process is made. This production this all happens in Brazil. Okay, so this comes out with, of course, ISO 9001 with quality of our process and our services.
We noticed that Dynamox upgraded the sensors. Can you explain to us the major differences between the old and the new sensors, and also what it means by DynaPredict solution?
Yeah, 100%. So DynaPredict solution is our global environment, our universe of vibration monitoring and condition monitoring, 100%. So the DynaLogger or the sensors itself are just one little part of this whole business. So the idea is that this is just like a quick resume on how the solution works. We have the DynaLoggers, so they are triaxial vibration sensors and context temperature transducers. So basically, they can collect global or continuous data up to 1 minute. So every 1 minute takes a sample. They are data loggers, so they store data in their memory. Basically, they can perform spectral analysis as well. So they perform analysis in acceleration, velocity, or displacement. Also triaxial, so that's very important to mention. As they are wireless, so they don't have any cables on it. They will be sticking to the machine. They'll be mounted and no cables are required. They communicate using a Bluetooth 5.2, 5.3 protocol to using the data transfer. Okay, so these data loggers, to communicate with them, you would need an external device. So what is this external device? You can use the mobile app. This comes in handy. Um, just downloaded it on iOS store or Play Store, and basically you can collect and interact with these sensors. Okay, so if you buy a hardware, you have access to the app as well for free. You have a second option as well. That's the gateway. Our Dyna Gateway basically automates the process, so you can configure the internet connection for that gateway, and this gateway will automatically collect data and send that automatically to the cloud. Okay, this gateway can communicate using Ethernet or using Wi-Fi, or even though using SIM cards. So there's a SIM slot on every gateway to be communicating to the cloud. Both collection devices, app or gateway, you can just synchronize the data to our DynaPredict web platform. So there's our database. Basically, it's a cloud-based platform. You have access with your login and password, no limits of licenses. This is one of the differentials. You have, of course, all the vibration tools to analyze and to distinguish and to detect the problems with the data coming from these data loggers. As Krishna mentioned, he mentioned that we are releasing a new generation of DynaLoggers to the market. Okay, so we are ready. Lots of time working with these vibration sensors and context temperature, and now by the end of 2022, we released a brand new generation with few improvements that I'm going to talk a bit on this webinar. So just to give you a summary on what changes we're going to cover here, the first ones are structural and robustness, so physical changes on the hardware. Uh, the other one will be performance. Then I'm going to talk about the new monitoring modes, and then some just applications just for us to be out of the theoretical part and go to the practice one. So just giving you an idea, the TcA Plus, this is our previous sensor in terms of the low frequency one. This was divided now in two new sensors, so the TcAs and TcAg. So now we have two models for that. I'm going to explain the difference between them in a second. And for our HF, this is high frequency, and this was changed out for the HF Plus. So it's a high frequency plus sensor that will be now available in the market. In terms of improvements, we are talking about structural and robustness. So we have a metallic base now. We have a larger metallic base, which would guarantee a bit more robustness in terms of the case structure. Of course, this metallic base, as it's wider, we have some improved heat transfer in terms of the surface of contact between the asset and our sensor. So we have more accurate temperature readings, and of course we have some scratches on this metallic base. So basically we can have a better and longer adhesion of the glue. So as you can see, these two sensors up on the top, the TcAg and TcAs, they can only be glued to the asset, and the HF Plus can be either glued or either screwed stud mount to the asset. In terms of improvements in the production process, we're talking a bit about reduced weight and dimensions. So we could reduce the dimension almost or very close to the half of the previous TcA Plus. Okay. Talking a bit about the certifications, we're going basically these sensors will be certified as the old ones to the IP68, and of course for explosive atmospheres at zone 20 and zone 0. Okay, so these certifications are expected for February, end of February in 2023. Talking a bit about performance, just a quick introduction on what was changed. We have the maximum frequency and duration, so increase that at times of in terms of values. We have so more analysis capacity in terms of if we have an Fmax that is larger with more duration. Of course, we will have more number of lines of resolution. So basically, that was the main thing that was changed. Now the sensor collects 100% triaxial and simultaneously. So basically, you could collect data from the three axes on the same time. Uh, that was possible as well on the previous sensor, but in just some specific cases. Now it's 100% triaxial in all cases that you could imagine. So in terms of telemetry or continuous data, so the telemetry is what we call that measurements that are very continuously taken in terms of the sensor wakes up, collects a sample, store it in its memory, wait for the next sample interval, and then do it again and starts repeating it. So the TcAs, this telemetry goes from 1 to 60 minutes, so you can configure that one. Maximum frequency in RMS, of course, up to 2.5 kilohertz, so a big improvement from the previous sensor. So the TcA Plus would go to 124 hertz, and this one 2.5 kilohertz. In terms of the telemetry, the DynaLogger TcAg as well, the same thing. So we have up to 2.5 kilohertz. and telemetry from 1 to 60 minutes. With the HF Plus, this is where the big improvement comes. We have, of course, the maximum frequency in RMS up to 13K. So these telemetry or continuous data monitoring will be with a wider frequency range. And of course, the telemetry stood the same from 1 to 60 minutes. Okay. Spectral. So basically, our TcAs, this green one, it can go up to 5 kilohertz of sampling rate, which would guarantee us a 2.5 kilohertz spectral analysis or ONF max, as you prefer. In terms of simultaneous triaxial, up to 5 kilohertz as well sampling rate, and waveform, this can go up to 78 seconds. So this can cover, for example, conveyor pulleys that have bearings usually, and the speed is not that high. So this would cover with a good consistency this kind of cases. In terms of the HF plus, this is the maximum frequency or maximum sample rate. Sorry, will go to 26 kilohertz, which will guarantee us a spectral analysis up to 13K. And of course, the waveform up to 164 seconds, so almost 3 minutes of collection. And this is very important and very relevant for that low speed applications. If you have any, such as reclaimers, mills, these kind of applications will be ideal, this sensor. As you can see, the TcAg is not here. So basically, the sensor, the TcAg one, is called for global, and that sensor in specific does not perform any spectral measurements. The idea is for that is that it has a reduced cost for an application where you don't need actually to identify the failure itself. Just need to know that there's a problem and you need to investigate. I'll give you some examples in a minute. So new electronic. So basically, we have some more granularity, more processing power in terms of these sensors. So we have 40 times more processing. And what I mean by that is basically we have more granularity. So we have on the side, on the left side, HF plus. So this you can see a very distinguished between samples. You can see that the granularity happening. And on the right option, you have the HF. So basically, the HF sensor is the previous one. Not that this one was a bad one. Apart from that, very far from that, it's a very good one. But the HF plus comes in handy when you have that, when you need that more granularity to distinguish between samples.
So Marcelo, apart from the reduced size, right? So how the Dynamos cope up with the improvement of the Bluetooth? Is How's the speed with the current
Okay.
version?
Yeah, that is indeed a very nice question, Krishna. So, yeah, in terms of Bluetooth, basically from the previous sensor I'm talking like HF and TCA plus, that one's used this 5.0 Bluetooth protocol. This one's now with the 5.3 protocol, so improved in terms of the protocol itself, which would guarantee us more speed in terms of data collection. So we are talking about a faster collection with a wider or larger amount of data, because if you have more lines of resolution, you have a larger data set to transfer in terms of the Bluetooth. So it's faster, so you can transfer more data, and you can be, in terms of battery consumption, you can be more optimized. So that's the main idea of changing the Bluetooth for this new technology, as it's always evolving. The idea for us is as well to be evolving with our products as well. In terms of storage, I'll take the lead just to tell you that in terms of storage as well, we improved in terms of size of the storage. So we have 7 times more storage. Basically, we have more time until the memory of these data loggers get full. So just giving a brief example, when you use an application, a mobile one, or use a gateway to collect data from a sensor, you can free the memory basically because you transfer the data to the memory of your device. So with this new sensor, you have even more time before the memory gets full. So with this, we can have memories up to like more than 2 months, more than 5 months, depending on your sample interval. So it's a very big improvement in terms of memory. In terms of consumption optimization, so I'm talking about more battery autonomy. So as the accelerometer is more powerful, the processing units, all of those, we could still maintain the 3 up to 5 years of battery lifetime for these sensors. So we really did a hard work in terms of battery autonomy to bring that to you guys. And the biggest feature for that is the remote update. So now we can update the technology remotely from basically from our manufacturing side. So if we release any new updates or technologies that the sensors are available to do, we'll be basically performing a remote update in the firmware of the sensor, something that we couldn't do on the previous version. Okay. So in terms of new monitoring modes, just to give an idea, now these sensors, these new ones, will be these configurations will be available. So what are telemetry profiles? Is basically you can define up to two profiles, different ones, to be monitored in terms of the continuous or telemetry data. So imagine if you have an asset that you usually have some very distinguished failures in terms of the low frequency ones of the high frequency ones. You can basically define metrics, different levels, and different profiles for each of those monitoring modes. So imagine if I want to define, for example, a profile that would contemplate the high frequency ones, so basically from 50 to 13K, that's the example. I would preferably use the acceleration metric to monitor that, right? So that's the main idea. If you go, for example, I would like to choose peak-to-peak acceleration and RMS acceleration. By the other hand, if you have the second profile, you can use, for example, a very low frequency one from 0 up to 200, and this contemplates usually RMS velocity or even though RMS displacement. So that's the main point of using these telemetry profiles, because you can define the metrics, you can define the magnitudes, the frequency ranges will be customized by the user, and of course, you can just define alerts for these ones as well. So you can define a high frequency alert, a low frequency one, that when something goes up, you already know if it's a low or high frequency related. In terms of magnitude, we have acceleration, velocity, and displacement combined with the metrics that are RMS, peak to peak, crest factor, skewness, or kurtosis even. So you can just combine those metrics on that profiles that I mentioned prior, and then you can just toggle them and do the proper filtering. So you can choose your filters, and you can see which band frequency you want to monitor in terms of the low profile, high profile, and then of course you can uh, define alerts for those metrics as I mentioned. Okay. Going to some practical applications now, just to give an idea on what we are talking, just to not be too theoretical. In terms of the TcAg, as I mentioned, as this sensor does not perform spectral, what are we talking here? Basically, it's an application for example, conveyor rollers. That basically you just need to stick this sensor, and you don't need to know exactly which failure is it, right? If you see some temperature rising, or if you see any vibration rising, you would like to do a proper inspection on that. You would need to go on field to check if there's like any rollers stuck, or anything, or any dirt giving this bad behavior for this asset. So that's the main idea of the TcAg. You could apply this sensor in these locations where you have a tiny little space or not enough room to a larger data logger. So that's the main idea of the smallest sensor of
Marcelo,
its kind in the market.
yeah, Marcelo, can you explain the advantages of having a vibration and temperature built-in sensors compared to standalone temperature transducer? So what are the advantages? So
Yes. Yes, so that's indeed a very nice questioning. So why should I use like a temperature and vibration sensor for this kind of applications? So yeah, I just brought you a simple case just to let you know how things work. So I'm showing you here. These are graphs from our software, from our platform, and you can see RMS velocity on the top, contact temperature on the bottom. So if you go, for example, to February 2020, you can see that the vibration evolution is evident. So you can see some high amplitudes in terms of velocity. Okay, not that high, but they are higher than usual. So if you go to July 2020, as mentioned, you can just see a considerable amplitude evolution. So you can see the high peaks on the velocity trend. And if you go to September 2020, then you can see also the temperature rising, and this is actually where the failure would happen. So you can see that only 2 months after the maximum vibration, which occurred in July, and 7 months later, then February, when it's the first indication, there was already a problem there. So that's the big advantage. Vibration vibration and temperature could complement themselves in terms of detecting the problem way earlier than just one of those isolated. So that's the main idea. In terms of other applications for the TcAg, so we have train rodeos. If you would like to install them on trains with a reduced size, you have more advantages on that with more solid grip on the glue. And if you go to sugarcane harvesters for the agriculture sector as well, they're very similar to a conveyor as well. But this is a machine where you would like to monitor the rollers as well to check for any fire or any starters of fire in terms of high temps of these rollers. Other examples of these TcAg sensors, we are talking about heavy vehicles. So these heavy vehicles for mining, basically, and for other industries, of course, like articulations, suspensions, chassis. So these kind of monitoring. We're talking about structures. So the structures, if you would like to monitor them, and control or electrical rooms and panels. So these are very uh, interesting applications for the TcAg, where you would like to just check for any specific frequency in terms of the line frequency, and of course temperature of those electrical panels as well. To give an idea in terms of the TcAs, so the TcAs is our sensor that goes up to 2.5 kilohertz but performs spectral analysis, and this refers mainly for conveyor bearings, which you wouldn't really need like an HF plus if it's a low speed uh, conveyor pulley. So that's the main idea. You could reduce your cost on that. So we're not a company that are going to sell you just sensors. We're selling you a whole solution. So that's the main idea. This is the cost is reduced and you could pick it up. That's what we're going to point it out for you. In terms of vibrating screen springs as well, as these sensors perform spectral analysis, basically you could perform motion orbits and check for the screen performance, stroke, angle, all of those specifications in terms of screens. These sensors applied on the spring mount of those conveyors, it could be used, and you have very impressive results with that. In terms of the TcAs, other examples, so all applications that I mentioned before for the TcAg, of course, you could use that one as well. You wouldn't even have the spectral analysis, and you have the bearings with more advanced faults. So if you have some bearings with stages 3 and 4 of development of the failure, more advanced ones, you would really use this TcAs because it's going to lower the frequency down a bit, so you can see, of course, in 2.5 kilohertz. In terms of the HF plus, so this is our general sensor, general application sensor, better saying, in terms of for motors, pumps, gearboxes, fans, everything, you would use these HF plus sensor, and this includes low rotation and speed equipment. As this waveform, as I mentioned, goes up to almost 3 minutes of collection, you can use that for low speed applications, reclaimers and mills, anything related to that, and of course for high speed machines as well. So if you're talking about more than 5,000 rpm for a high speed machine, you could use that because you have a larger frequency range up to 13K, and you will be able to monitor that. Okay, mentioning a bit about just a quick success story, like a user case, just to be out of the theoretical again. So this is a multi-stage pump. You can see on our velocity trend that it's something really trending up after some specific period of time. In terms of tools that we have on our platform, so we have some band pass filters, high pass, low pass, that you could use to isolate some harmonics to analyze it. On the right part of the screen, you can see a spectrum showing the highlighting the imbalance, right? One times the RPM. And of course, if you go to the next one, you can see that you if you remove that bandpass filter and just analyze your whole spectrum, you can see the handling pads frequency of those the frequency of those passing, of course, with the speed modulation. So you can see these behavior as well. Lights to the cavitation carpet that it's on the right part of the screen, and this just the welding piece that needed to be the welding work that needed to be done. So just to show you how the sensor can perform these kind of situations with data being collected automatically and send it to the cloud.
Yeah, Marcelo, can you show us the some software technology capabilities and other. Do you provide any other services?
Yes. So Dynamox does not just sell hardware, as I was mentioning. So that's a very good question, Krishna. So for motor pumps in specific, we provide like we can basically customize a full dashboard with automated detection of failures, with the drive components, with the visualization that you need in terms of your pump. So these smart dashboards, this is something that we work on and we can deliver for our customer to aggregate value. So with these pumps dashboard, for example, uh, you can basically see the differences in terms of the components. So we're talking about the drive, about the mode, about the cylinder itself, about the assembly or the impeller, anything that you would like to see the criticality of those equipments. And you can see with the color scheme up on the bottom of this page. I don't know if you can see it, but basically you can see in terms of failure. So which failure mode might be more likely to happen on that one, and what is the criticality of that. So that's of course besides the AI working on, you have this visualization which would give you more visibility in terms of viewing the whole process of the asset and not just one component isolated. To give you another example, so this is another version of those dashboards. So this is customizable by our customers, and these two partners of ours, we basically can see like can set up like some frequency bands specific to see the analytics, to see the trendings. Those bands, these bands usually monitor cavitation, for example. I would like to plot it on the left part of the screen. It's possible because it's a very customizable solution in a high technology one, so you can basically see whether it is happening with your motor pump, for instance, in terms
Normally,
of.
how long it takes for this
Sorry.
customization, Marcelo? Like how long it takes, like how many weeks
Yeah.
or months or days you guys can do the customization?
That's a very nice question. Once you have your sensors installed, basically, if you would like to pick it up one dashboard specific, for example, I'm installed in a motor pump. You could really contact us and okay, I want these pumps dashboard. Usually within weeks it will be developed with you. So it's a very fast process, and basically the thing that usually takes a bit more time is to customize the way that the customer wants. So usually we perform meetings with the customer, present the first versions. They give us the feedback and what they want to change, and then we deliver it back. And it's a very easy process and quick to do. Okay, so just to give an idea on that. In terms of the conveyor dashboard, I mentioned about conveyors before. So to give an idea, so we have these roller dashboard up on the top. On the bottom, we have the pulley dashboards as well. So basically to see how the pulleys are performing, if the AI detected something about looseness, about any misalignment or any bearing problems, you'll be aware of that and the criticality in terms of the color scheme. And on the left part as well, you can see the list of all sensors and which failures do they present. Okay, so that's the main idea of this conveyor dashboard. Another example of the roller one. So this is from a reclaimer and from a stacker. So you can see that there are different views, and you could basically customize this view for what you judge it's the most appropriate for your business. In terms of vibrating screens dashboard, just to end this part of this product, basically we provide these dyna screen dashboards, what we call, to monitor the performance and health of the screen. So if you would like to see more KPIs, more screen motion checks, this is really the way to go. And I would like to highlight our partnership with Metso Autotech, manufacturer from screens. So basically, we have a technical partnership with them to aggregate value. We delivering more options as well for them, and they delivering knowledge and options for us to improve the product in both ways. Okay, so we're really a highly specialized company in this kind of assets.
Can we able to integrate the data from the Dynamox platform into a third party system?
Yeah, that's a very nice question, Krish. Yes. So as we are a cloud service, basically we could integrate to basically any system that you have available, as we already do with our customers, mainly in Brazil and Australia. But yes, we can integrate using, for example, a GCP bucket that you could consult with an API, or we could do, for example, a streaming option where we would post with our API on the customer, on the end business API. So basically, all of these options can be customized. The customer can define, for example, which data he would like to get uh, from the system. So basically, it's a fully customizable option that we can do. And this is where to, like, for example, to just extract and export data from our system. This will be available as well on the platform, on the web one. But you could have that, for example, on a historian or PyVision, for example. I brought an example for you. So this is from a customer of ours in Brazil. So basically, we're integrating our sensors to the already existing PI Vision tab, so they would basically see everything in just one place. So we managed to do that, and we could integrate, of course, external sensors and external systems through our system to the customer. Okay. I would like to take the opportunity to mention as well in terms of certification. So when we talk about cloud, when we talk about integration, that's the main idea, right? So in terms of process certifications, we have the ISO 9001. That one is that I mentioned right in the beginning in terms of processes of a quality production process and of course software development. In terms of protection, privacy, and security on cloud, I'm very happy to tell you that we are the only company on this market that contemplates these three certificates for data security. So ISO 27001, ISO 27018, and ISO 27701. These ones all refer to data security, data protection, and data security on cloud. Okay, so we're a very specified and very concerned company about the data that belongs to the customer, and we are more than happy to handle that appropriately to the ISO standards. Okay. What I had for today is this. Thanks for your time, Krishna, or any of the web chat. Do you have any additional questions?
Thank you, Marcelo. So I think like the participant can email to us if they have additional question or they missed out during this webinar. Do we have
Yeah.
any question now?
Yeah, I think we have no questions on the web chat. But
Okay.
as Krishna mentioned, feel free to contact us. So basically, you have my email, you have our support email, we have Krish's email from IMITS solutions.asia. So basically, you have our local distributor in your area. So if you would like to know more about the sensors, please contact him as well. Okay, we'll be more than happy to answer your question and to assist in your condition monitoring systems. Thanks everyone. Thanks for the
Thanks, everyone.
opportunity, and have a really nice day. Bye bye.
Bye.